Hello and welcome to Relatively Ordinary. I'm Carl.
And I'm Betsy. How's it going, babe?
It's going good. How are you?
Wow. Again, it's going
Yeah,
real good. What's going real
yeah.
good?
Well, just feeling good. We're getting down to the last few weeks of the year and Christmas is coming and, just had a nice family day, family oriented weekend.
Yeah.
Um,
Good time with the kids
yeah,
and
low
relaxing.
stress.
Did some chores.
So yeah, life's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty chill. Pretty ill.
Chilling and illing. Yeah,
Hmm.
chilling, illing, blood spilling.
Well, that just took a left turn.
Yeah, no, that's how we do it in the hood here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got a question for you to sort of start off the chatter.
All right.
You got the
Kick us
topic
off.
today. All right. All right. So, my question for you is what modern convenience that we have now that maybe we're not talking about hundreds of years ago, but within the past couple decades, we now have access to
Mm.
that you could not live without that helps you as a parent?
It helps as a parent.
Yes. Well, or as your, daily busy routine, but
Okay.
could be made. Parenting sometimes is a struggle. So there are some conveniences that we have access to.
I mean, am I mailing it in if I say the internet?
Yes.
But I mean, that's
Fine.
well,
But could you be more specific? In
okay.
what
So
way?
ChatGPT.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
How does that help you be a parent?
last
Oh,
year, when my
I
son
know where you're going with this.
was studying chemistry and struggling because it was an honors chemistry course for 10th grade, and it was hard,
Mm-hmm.
and I barely passed high school chemistry. Mr. Jewell ran a pretty tight ship back there, Bacon Academy. And I was kind of a smart ass and
And for the record,
did not apply
folks,
myself.
Bacon Academy was actually the name of his high school.
Yes, Bacon Academy. And it was not a prep school, it was a public school, even though it had a very pretentious name like Academy. And
Bacon.
the bacon part made it extra sizzling. But regardless, had nothing to do with pork products. Just a regular old public school with a funny name. And yeah, so I didn't really do very good in high school chemistry, and that was a long time ago. And I was trying to help our son with chemistry, and I was able to take pictures of problems and say, ChatGPT, help me teach my son how to do this problem. So not only was it able to read, this is like talking last episode, we talked about AI and image recognition. All that. Not only was it able to read the textbook and interpret the problem, it also was able to solve the problem and explain to me as his parent, who is like a relatively smart person, but does not know how to do chemistry problems, how to do it.
Did you not have to do chemistry in college?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I didn't really do any chemistry in college. Because I think the assumption is in computer science that all the chemical reactions that are happening that make stuff happen, we don't care. That's all magic.
That's magic.
The important thing is that there's like little electrons hitting certain gates and turning things on and off.
They do the dance, and that's more physics stuff anyway.
Yeah.
In a way. I don't know. There's overlap.
Well, they tell me silicon is some sort of chemical mumbo jumbo. It's on some sort of table.
Yes.
Elements.
You're close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you learned a lot as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in general, the internet, like Khan Academy is really impressive.
I agree with that.
Website and like just the ability to, you think about like our parents, if they wanted to help us with our homework, yes, you could go to a library. That was an option, right?
The
But
textbook.
now you're getting to like, well, the textbook, but like, I mean, I can't read those textbooks. I can't interpret, I'd have to go back and read hundreds of pages to get those textbooks. Whereas like I can go look something up on YouTube, looking up the Khan Academy, or now the ultimate cheat, just plug it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And truly I'm trying to use it to like, I don't need to learn it, but I need to learn it well enough to help our kids learn it. I'm not just like, give me the answer and, move on.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool application of technology.
Yeah. Mine, I guess is the reason I came up with the question, but also related to something that I did this weekend, which I haven't done in a while, which is actually go grocery shopping at the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
So I really appreciate the fact that I can shop online and either pick up my groceries or have them delivered, which is a huge time saver.
Grocery is such an old-fashioned term.
Grocery? Why? Oh, you're
It's a
you're
Trump.
mocking.
It's a
Oh,
Trump quote. Yeah.
do you want to fill me in?
It was just one of his random dumbass rants. He was like talking about affordability and how things are expensive, and he's talking about groceries. He's like, groceries. It's kind of an old-fashioned term.
What? Okay.
Yeah,
That doesn't even
that's
make sense.
when you are completely out of touch with reality and the
Yeah.
experience
He
of regular
probably
people.
never grocery shops for
Yeah.
himself, but I do. And I didn't mind going to the grocery store, but it takes a lot of time, and that convenience is pretty amazing. And I don't think I could give it up easily.
Yep.
Although we did have the situation where the kid who was bagging my groceries dropped them. We thought everything was okay until I went to pull the jar of pasta sauce out of the cabinet today, and it spilled all over the place. But fortunately for
Looked
me,
like a murder scene.
it did look like a murder scene, and
Guts everywhere.
I needed to leave for hockey, so you got the honors of cleaning up the mess. But
Yep.
it was all over many surfaces.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's, I guess, the downside of going to the grocery store.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could have happened any number of ways.
I know. I'm joking.
We're just blaming it on the poor 16-year-old kid at the checkout.
I should have maybe investigated further. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So,
well, I love your question because it fits so well with the topic for today.
ooh, we're reading each other's minds.
And I thought of this kind of coming out of the last two conversations because, 2 episodes ago we talked about
Homeownership, right?
no,
Oh.
this one 2 episodes was about burnout.
Oh, yes.
And or maybe that was 2 episodes. Your 2 episodes
Yeah,
ago,
those
right?
are mine.
Yeah,
Those were my
your 2
brilliant
questions
ideas.
ago was about burnout, and then last time we talked about AI.
Yep.
And I was thinking about something that I said, and I still truly believe, like, I'm an AI optimist, but I also sometimes question, while I am a technologist and I like technology, I also question of like, is this technology actually a good thing?
Yeah.
And thinking about, the constant connectivity and mobile phones and, social media and a lot of the negative ramifications of those things. So I want to just start there, kind of big picture wise. Is this actually a good thing?
Okay, you're asking me
I am.
if technology is a good thing.
Well, it's not just technology.
Okay.
Technology is a good thing in terms of, I certainly like that I have the technology for indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
I like when I poop, it goes outside and I don't have to worry about it, right? It's like magic. It just flushes. That's technology, right? So technology, undeniably, almost everyone on this planet would agree, some level, technology is a good thing.
Mhm.
But the constant connectivity, constantly being online, and then sort of the fallout ramifications of that, of surveillance technology and big data and all of our information being out there, and then AI and all of that. So is it too much? Have we gone too far, or is there still sort of like this merit in continuing the exploration of technology and advancing human technology?
Well, I don't think my opinion would stall any of it, but
That's not what we're here to
no,
do.
I know. This is where I'm such a concrete thinker. I'm like, well, who gives an F, because it's going to happen anyway. But what I would say is I kind of appreciate the innovation, and there are a lot of types of tools and technology that I use day to day that I now have sort of integrated into my routine and rely on. GPS, for example, so that I can get places efficiently with the most efficient route and safely arrive without getting lost. Being someone who had to do home care in Boston, it's not easy driving and not knowing where you're going in a busy city. So that's been pretty helpful. definitely don't want anyone to take that away from me. Similar to what we were talking about with burnout, though, I think there's, the downside is it's so easy to just be like, all right, well, got some downtime here. I'm going to doom scroll, or, I'm going to an internet shop or get stuck on some social media site, or, feel like you're always having to check to see missed messages, or look to, anyone email me over the weekend, things I need to catch up on. So it's hard to have boundaries on that, and you have to create your own. And that was very similar to our burnout topic. But yeah, I think it all is for greater good. I'm thinking, when we were talking about AI, there needs to be people who are considering the ethics of our technology. I have some challenges with waste, especially of hardware. I think what frustrates me is, for instance, I have a watch and the battery is past its prime and it's not working well for me anymore. And when I went to the Apple store and discussed it with an employee, and I'm like, oh, don't replace the battery, just get a new one. I'm like, oh, of course. Here's hundreds
Planned
of more.
obsolescence.
Yes. And here's hundreds of more dollars for the latest and greatest. And then the same thing, it's a rinse and repeat cycle. And I know that they try to recycle them and try to reduce the harm that, with these lithium batteries. I don't even know if it's lithium, but I know that's, one potential element to recycle. And they say they do, the right thing by that. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel good that I'm always having to shovel out more money for the next thing because it doesn't work anymore, even though I take good care of it. I mean, I still have my library card from elementary school. I don't lose stuff. I don't break things. So
Does that still work for you?
I know, but it's kind of cute. So I just keep it. I probably could still use it. That library is still around. But to me, that's a frustrating piece of it. I also think another challenge is that it creates this, I brought it up very briefly, I think, in the last episode, but this digital divide of the haves and have-nots. So people who are in power and have wealth and access can get these tools, and that helps them in their careers and their personal lives. And, those who don't have access to it, it creates this bigger divide. And, maybe that will play out in big economical things. But I also think, we see it, and, that digital divide can impact health. It can, impact, long-term wealth. It can impact employment. And part of it is people, not just their access to the technology, but their technology literacy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's sort of as I think about my mind map of like the bubbles, my thought bubbles on it. Pop, 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 pop. Those are my thought bubbles.
So I'm interested to, well, you actually said something I thought kind of insightful. You probably weren't thinking of it insightful.
I'm always insightful.
But,
you just got to listen.
Well, right off the bat, you said something about it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So, who am I? Like, what does my opinion matter? And I think that's a little bit of how I feel about it sometimes, because ultimately what I think about is I'm usually at my happiest when I am totally disconnected from my devices and I am not beholden to any kind of electronic communication. I'm probably engaged in exercise or playing a sport or, just having fun with the family, or maybe I'm hiking out in nature. And it kind of strikes me that that's where I'm happiest and feel the most whole. And yet I spend more time
in front of a screen,
connected in front of screens than I do doing that.
Yeah.
And part of it is just the nature of needing to make a living in the world. And I've got a good career and I like my career, so I'm not complaining. Mm-hmm. But if I was independently wealthy like that tomorrow, I'm not spending my time the way I do in front of screens all the time.
Yeah. It reminds me of when we went to Baxter with the kids. Remember, we rented that house on the lake. We thought, okay, we know there's no signal up there. Nothing's going to work. And, maybe there's television with 6 stations, but this is a time to unplug, and then they brought the fiber optic
Fastest internet I've ever experienced in my
Within,
life.
like, 24 hours of us being there, the
Yeah.
owners are like, "You don't mind if they set up the Wi-Fi?" I'm like,
Yeah, we
sure."
were like thinking we're fairly off the grid, no cell phone, no internet, and
Yeah, the kids jump for joy on that one.
yeah, and then we have, multi-gig speed
Mhm.
internet.
Can I share a pet peeve, though?
Please do.
If you were to open any I have too many email addresses. I'm so done with email,
Email sucks.
but it's a necessary evil, and in my fields, that's what people do for their communication, unfortunately. But I have so many unanswered emails. So if you look, it has the little icon number. It's in the thousands.
Yeah.
I must have like 6,000 unanswered emails. And a lot of that is junk.
Yeah.
I can't even, decipher what's necessary or not. And I will unsubscribe to all the things, and yet they still
Yeah.
find me.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
Email is, we haven't talked about it on the podcast, but I've
Email?
talked to you about enshittification.
Yeah.
This concept, and I poo-pooed it, no pun intended, the first time I heard it, and then it stuck with me, and I heard it a few more times, and I was like, I think there really is something to it.
So describe it for our listeners.
I may not do this justice because I haven't really looked into the origins of it, but it's basically the idea that
Circa 2023.
it's a fairly recent term, but it's the idea that when something comes out especially on the internet, it's pretty much like an internet thing.
Mm-hmm.
When something comes out on the internet, initially it is so cool that it blows your mind, right? It's like Facebook, YouTube, Gmail, lots of these things. The first time you experience it, you're like, wow,
You got mail.
this works. Yeah, AIM, right? Like that, those things, the first time you see them, you're like, this is amazing. And you're so excited to try it. And people like
I would
this
get
early adopter thing. And then,
well, if I could plot, I think I would get an email like every few days.
yeah,
It was like,
because you weren't getting spam emails, and you were only getting emails from people.
Yeah.
All the email today is just
Garbage.
It's garbage. It's like automated messages, or it's newsletters, it's spam, marketing stuff.
And your dad.
Even the stuff, yeah, my dad actually writes good emails.
No, he does.
They're
They
functional and they're good communication.
They could be text messages.
But I don't even, it's 1 out of every 700 emails has any value in it.
Yeah.
And so really the whole enshittification thing is that things start out great, but then the push of adoption and then the push to monetize. And I think because a lot of internet business models in this era that we've been in, really since 2007, is built on, we're going to give it to you for quote unquote free, and all we ask in return is access to your data. And then that data is used to target bullshit to you, and then you're just inundated with crap.
Yeah.
And I think
you can't even visit a website without them taking your data.
My prediction of what's going to happen is that we're going to go through, because of AI and AI slop. So that's another term that's kind of a new one that's coming out is AI slop. And I think you know what I mean right away when I say that. That is going to be
crappy AI.
Well, just crap. There's so much content. You can doom scroll on your Instagram feed all day long. It's just full of nonsense. And now that you can create that content instantly and basically free with AI video generation, or image generation or whatever, it just compounds infinitely. And then they get to a point where people are just going to be like, no, I don't want any of this. I don't want any of it. I just it's not even I say Facebook. I quit Facebook, almost 10 years ago, but it hit me when Facebook stopped being oh, this is a place for me to, see my old friends got a puppy that I haven't seen my old friends in 7 years. They got a puppy. That's great. Or they had a kid and hey, look, their kid's going to first grade. And then it became, I'm yelling at you about my political beliefs and I don't agree with your political beliefs, or just here's my opinion on whatever the hell. I just was like, I can't do this anymore. And I think that we're going to be so inundated with the slop and the crap that all of that. So people are just finally going to be like, just make it all go away and start over on something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that's enshittification.
Okay.
we're in that
Yeah.
we're in that enshittification place. There is a question to kind of go back to what we were talking about, the digital divide piece. And I
Mhm.
almost wonder if there's like, I think it's not only is there's a digital divide in terms of access and quality of access, but I think there's also going to be a digital divide in terms of like people who can manage it and people who can't,
Yeah.
so people who can't control, it's like you talk about what's happening with email. And I can't even keep track. I've given up trying to control my
Yeah.
inbox, right? But still, you and I were intelligent people and we have, good access to resources and we can say, now is the time to put the screens away and go for a jog or like, go hike or whatever. And I think there's some people that just can't.
Oh, who this is where I'm probably naive, who just
Well,
are on
I think they're
plugged in.
addicted
Yeah.
and they don't know they're addicted. But I think that there's people who like small thing, but significant of streaming plans. We have a Netflix that we pay extra that we don't see ads,
Yep. Yep.
right? Some people, I need to save money. I'm going to watch the ads. So that's a very small thing, but it's like a little bit of point of privilege. I'm just paying that premium to not see ads.
Mhm.
And I know that there's like low entry level, like cell phone plans where you pay this bare bottom price, but we're going to like mine you for information or like
Mhm.
bombard you with ads, like watch these ads and then you can get access to your cell phone. So I just think almost like
The haves and have-nots.
yeah, so the haves can have, some autonomy and control from that onslaught of
Mhm.
digital vomit.
Yeah.
And some people are just buried by it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess all I can say is I agree. I think that advertisers are going to get you any which way they can. It's evil business. To me, it's almost as bad as big pharma, and they're just out to take advantage any which way they can.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your demographic. If you've got money to waste on something they're trying to sell, they're going to get
Yeah.
you.
They're going to get every dime out of your pocket.
Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, or I'm not sure what your question is, but
That's great. So shifting gears to the community level.
Mhm.
So I'm curious to kind of narrow in your role as an educator. How do you see the pervasiveness of
I hate it.
technology?
I hate it.
Okay,
I hate it.
let it rip.
It's this task shifting. You can't do it. It's not even dual. You can't dual task with technology. The minute your mind wanders to answer a text message, which pops up on your
Mm,
computer, or your phone buzzes and you look at it, you are no longer paying attention and following the thought of the classroom. And I had this happen recently. So, assignments coming due. I'm a fairly fair educator. We're all working
fairly,
on fairly
fairly fair.
fair, meaning, for the most part, I'm pretty fair in how I design things and my expectations, right? They're difficult expectations, but I set you up to succeed. If you want 100, I'm not going to spoon feed you, but I'm going to show you the path to take.
Professor Fairly Fair.
Professor Fairly Fair. And so, all along we've been working on this assignment. I've got all the details on the learning management platform, blah, blah, blah. And then when we're in class, we're working on it. And the last day we're working on it, I had to clarify something that when you download it, you're going to need to download 2 documents and upload 2 documents. And I was probably repeated it 3 times. And we were working through this in class. And I know there are people who are playing online poker in the back, and then there are others who are answering messages and someone who's looking at his phone, and others who are talking. Most of it is technology driven distractions, and lo and behold, I would say about a fifth of them did not follow that procedure. Now, don't get me wrong, there are so many times where I'm sitting in a meeting, and I know it's purposeful for me. Like, I don't need to attend right now. This isn't focused on me. So I'm going to do that task I need to
Mm,
do. But I know for sure I'm zoning out on that and I'm focused on something else. So I think technology, especially in high school, is problematic in college. But at that point, they're paying their way. And for my students in particular, no, there's a cutoff of you don't make it, then you failed out. And that's lost money, that's lost time. And to make that up and to join back in the curriculum is a lot for them to be responsible for. So they're aware, they know what the expectations are, but I'm not going to heavily police it. They're adults. But in a high school classroom, I feel like, it's hard having a computer screen up for students to do their work and expect that they're going to be focused to do that work because there are many distractions that can happen. Even if it's not a phone or social media, there's too many opportunities for things to happen. Now, granted, you can't have an educator who's just talking at you for 2 hours straight. Our attention spans are 15 to 20
Even
minutes.
Professor Fairly Fair.
Even Professor Fairly Fair. Attention spans are 15 to 20 minutes, and then there needs to be some sort of change of pace or activity or break. But I would also say that, distracted driving, even just safely walking down the street
Yeah.
and looking at your phone, we're all complicit in this. I'm not saying this to grandstand and, point fingers and let everyone know they're bad and hear all the things I've observed. I've totally done all these things too, but I think all of these distractions, even in conversations, I have a rule when as a parent, as I'm driving my kids, I'm not a taxi driver. So if you're the only one in the car and my kids are tall enough to sit in the front seat, heavy enough and tall enough, they sit in the front seat and there's no devices. If they're in the back and I have someone else in the front seat with me, then fine, they can go on their device. And then none at the dinner table, because you can easily just go through life and not have a decent conversation with someone and be able to give them your undivided attention because of those damn devices.
Yeah. Yeah, those damn devices. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the attention span, and research that I have seen referenced in multiple places is just the context switching cost.
Yeah.
When you give your attention to something,
task shifting.
Yeah. It basically takes you 15 minutes to get back. So you lose your focus on something. And of course, there's a difference between paying, oh yeah, I better get back to focusing, versus like ping,
I'm going to respond to this.
oh yeah, oh, hold on, let's just respond to it. And one of my all-time pet peeves, and because I give you crap about it and you give me crap back about it, but if I'm talking to somebody
and their
eyes
are on the phone
and they just completely shift to the phone and just stop talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know if you're like, are you thinking about how you're going to respond to me, or are you just, screw you? It's like if somebody's like, hey, I'm really sorry, I need to take this. I get it, right? But if you're just, like, and then you look down and now they're lost to the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get back.
To me. I do that in patient care where if I have to type something up because I'm documenting, I'll let the family know I'm just writing this down, just so you know I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah.
Because it can be interpreted that way. And I think, professionals shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So thinking about our kids, to take it to a family level, what strikes me is
the phone is the biggest headache.
They were both born into a world in which iPhones, Android phones, smartphones are ubiquitous. Like, they've never known a world in which there was any other option. And now they both have the phones, and some elements of that connectivity are great. It's great to be able to reach them. It's great to know that they can reach us, and they have GPS and all of those things. But
that's a minority of what they use it for, though.
Totally.
Yeah.
But how do you think this is going to
play out,
shape them in their lives?
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably going to be one of those things they need to constantly consider their boundaries. For instance, I can drive everywhere. I have to drive. We're not in a very walkable community. And so I have to set intentions to walk places when I can and get outside and move my body as much as possible, even when it's dark and cold, and be intentional, because my physical activity has now changed considerably from living in the city and needing to commute without transportation. So the reason I'm talking about that is, okay, now we have a phone. You have all of this technology that's accessible to you. And here, take this for instance. You go into a coffee shop. Everyone's looking at their phones. Maybe there are some people who are chatting that came together, but even them, they're probably looking at their phones. Or, you know, the couple who's getting ready for bed, instead of chatting about their day or reading a book, they're looking at their phone, scrolling right before
Or
they go.
making sweet, sweet love.
They might be, but I think it becomes a slippery slope of this is normal, this is the usual, and we know it has an impact on people's social relationships. I mean, damn, their eyes. It affects their vision
Yeah.
and their posture.
My vision has deteriorated noticeably from the time that I started working primarily with people through a screen
Oh,
that's 12 to 18 inches in front of me
yeah,
versus going to an office and interacting.
more with people in person. Yeah, when I was doing primarily patient care, I was never in front of a screen as much as I am, and now I have to wear lenses when I'm looking at a screen.
That might
But
also have to do with something like, aging.
no,
Maybe just a
no,
little bit.
fountain of youth here. Uh, yes, it's multifactorial. But yeah, I think we've helped them to identify those boundaries. Like, here, let's check your screen time. Is this a healthy app to have? Is that becoming a distraction when you need to study? Put the phone away. It's dinner time. Modeling it, not always modeling it well, but modeling that we put this away when we're doing things. But since it's only going to become more and more integrated, I mean, we're going to be robots one day, right? We're going to have like chips in our head. And, that's that sci-fi piece. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's many ideas swirling around of what our futures will look like with these devices. But I think it's going to be important for them to consider it for their own health and mental health and physical health and social health, to have some boundaries. And going back to the digital divide, which I didn't really think about it in that context, because it's more about access to high-speed internet, access to the technology, having technology literacy, but now they're getting the enshittification. But that enshittification, is that going to be a challenge, right? When I think of it, it always takes me back to Idiocracy and just how dumb people get.
I like money.
Exactly.
My dad always calls Idiocracy the greatest documentary ever made. And I think that's the reality of the digital divide in this country. And I understand, yes, there are people who
Well,
truly there are people who live outdoors, but I mean, there are people who live outdoors who have phones and they have,
well, the digital divide has shrunk considerably
yeah,
since the pandemic because the government put resources
yes,
into the country. So
yes.
now it has shrunk considerably.
But
But yeah.
but the resources are, essentially, and it's not all bad, right? Again, if some kid that, you know, couldn't get on the internet to do his homework now can get on the internet to
Yeah.
access the library to do homework
Mhm.
and learn, that's a good thing. If some person who previously was unable to connect to the internet to potentially find work or at least to apply for jobs or whatever,
Mhm.
that's a good thing. Find healthcare, that's a good
Yeah.
thing. But I also think that a lot of it has just been to connect people to this sort of lecherous digital economy
Mm.
that is just designed to
Lecherous? Is that what you said?
pull every
Mhm.
dime out of our pocket.
Yeah.
So,
Big money there.
yeah. And I think, and across the world, it's similar. I think the mobile phone adoption in some of the poorest parts of the world is surprisingly high. There's a lot of
Yeah.
places where people have mobile phones and don't have indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
And is this a good thing or not? It's some
I
elements are
mean, I
good.
think it's mostly good in that realm. I do, because it could mean the difference between someone being able to track their blood sugars on their phone
Hmm.
or be able to connect with family. I think there's a lot of good in it, but yeah, it's the boundaries. And I don't think we know quite yet what all of this means, right? And how the technology is changing how we function. And maybe that's it. Our species is evolving alongside of it.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. I think and it's not just because when we open up a book and we're trying to look at a picture and we go
Yeah.
try to use our fingers to expand and
Do
zoom
you
in on
do you
it.
do that because you're
Everyone
reading?
does that. Everyone does that.
I wouldn't to a paper book?
You don't do that? I
N
was shocked. Everyone does that.
No. I put
Yeah.
my glasses on.
Actually, I mean, I'm not shocked that you would be the one who does it. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's the concrete thinking. I'm like,
Mhm.
"This is a book. That won't work."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do well, and there's an accessibility thing that's a cool feature of phones is, yeah, you can change the font size. There are some people who don't have good vision that I will sometimes look at their phones and be like, "Oh my god, it's like a 24-point font for your text message. You have, like, 1 word
Yeah.
per screen here." Yeah, I'm not that blind yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Yeah. We'll start to land the plane on this topic, but I
Mhm.
think what's kind of bugs me about this
Mm.
topic and the moment that we're in is that it feels like the driving ethic of this business and technology innovation climate we have is just profit, greed, money, money, money. And it's not, I think you can make tons and tons of money and do good in the world at the same time. And, what the hell is the difference between 300 billion and 100 billion? It's all funny money when you get up to a certain point.
Mhm.
So I don't see the titans of tech, I hold out hope that maybe we'll see this from the open AI and the AI race and all this stuff. But today I just see we're just trying to put devices in your hands and we're trying to find reasons for putting devices in like younger and younger kids' hands and finding ways to like get you hooked on the games. Like mobile games are designed by the same people who design slot machines.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
designed to be addictive. They're designed to be immersive. Those like dopamine hits. They like have really, really smart people who
Mhm.
do really good research to figure out how to make you addicted to your screen.
Yeah.
And that sucks. It makes
Well,
me feel so dirty.
it's disturbing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's disturbing and it's wrong. I don't understand why, and I know that there are a lot of really, really good, smart people who do these things and they see the good in it. And again, as we've talked about, some of these things are very, very good.
Mhm.
Ultimately, I think, life with an iPhone, all things considered, is better than life without an iPhone.
Yeah.
But how do you just shift that to encouraging and rewarding things that are good, just socially good for health and wellness, and not just good for shareholder value?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is a big, big topic, a big can of worms. I think that's where it becomes a little bit more of a personal responsibility. And that even to have that, you need to build some awareness of what is a healthy boundary with the devices and trying to stick with it, even though it's truly like fighting an addiction. I would go as far to say that I have seen kids who have a screen addiction. In some of my past work, I've worked with kids who have developmental delays, and there's nothing more exciting than a screen with music and something dynamic to look at, and it becomes a reward. And similar to food rewards, it can be that dopamine hit and then it becomes an addiction and a necessity, and it's really hard to break that. And if you think about it, some adults you would hope have a lot more self-control around it. We really don't. I mean, have you ever stopped to think about those times where we've all done it? You get sucked into something and then you go down the hole and you're like, shit, a half hour just went by.
Yeah,
I just
totally.
wasted a goddamn half hour
Totally.
of my day.
Yeah.
And for what? You've gained very little from
Yeah.
that. And I don't think we need to necessarily be hyper productive, but maybe the quality time with family or doing something good for your body. Yeah, I think that's comes down to our responsibility. And if there's less demand for it, then some of those things will just go bye bye, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. So I think we're kind of already doing it, but tell me what you're still chewing on, or if that was it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. What I'm chewing on is that it is a battle with kids and devices. Went back and forth. There's that book that sort of rubs me the wrong way. I'm forgetting the title of it. The one about the not giving.
Is it when the ones are here?
No, I don't own it.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
No, it's not
No.
Diary of a
Okay.
Kid. It's about God, it's hugely famous. You'll remember that Jonathan Haidt, I think, is the author, the one about the downside of devices for kids and waiting until they're older. And I trust the research that's coming out. I believe in it, but I also think that it's very nuanced and it's not as easy as just withholding, right? It takes a lot of social responsibility of not just the family structure and the parenting, but the community structure and the peers and the school. I think it's a shared responsibility to educate, and I think our school district has done a phenomenal job on that, but it's a constant battle, about access and restrictions and when and how and the permissions they have and where they can use it and how they can use it. And then they just sort of fall off a cliff at 18. They can do whatever the hell they want. And so, it's less like anything else with parenting. You sort of have to slowly you create this. I picture it like a pen. They've got a fence and they're able to free range explore within those boundaries, and then you sort of grow that. And it's hard when they're looking over at a friend or an older sibling or the parent themselves and be like, well, you got this shit and doing all that. Why can't I?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
tough because it is addictive, and their little brains, even if they rationally understand that, don't have as much, I guess, willpower, maybe it
Yeah.
is, or understanding.
Well, their brains are actively being wired, right? And now they're
Yeah.
being wired in concert with a phone, which is, better than cigarettes, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I'm not worried about our kids smoking cigarettes.
yeah.
I'm going to find the name of that book. The Anxious Generation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think what rubs me the wrong way about that, and this has been some of the feedback, is that, while there's some strong correlative studies around anxiety and phone usage, I also think there are so many other factors that play into that. So I also, as a parent with parenting books in general, I think parents already carry enough guilt. So it's hard for me to, and also coming from this lens of working with parents whose kids aren't typically developing, it's so easy to feel guilty. And so I don't necessarily need a parenting book to tell me I'm doing all the wrong things, right? Let's have a shared experience where we learn a little bit, we share a little bit, and we know we're doing the best we can with what we've been given. So,
Yeah. Yep. I like that. So what's relatively ordinary about it?
well, I guess to go back what I, originally said about the topic is it's gonna happen anyway.
You ain't stopping it.
What's my opinion matter? I think it's good to kind of revisit and think about rather just just going through life and letting it happen to you to make some conscious decisions. And, frankly, I think we're all benefiting in some way. As you said, technology does have a lot of merit, and it's better to have it than not have it. But that feels ordinary. We're all in this mess together.
We are indeed.
Mm-hmm. How about you? Any other thoughts?
No, I think we covered them all. It's just it's one of those things that our kids
Mm-hmm.
will someday likely be in the shoes that we're in now.
Yeah.
And, their kids will be like, they'll have like rocket shoes and they'll
They'll have those,
brain implants, brain implanted computers and
the eyeglasses
Yeah.
that, with your eye gaze help
Yep.
you kind of do
Yep.
a
And our
doing
kids
a
will be
little
like, back
research.
in my day, I just had a 2-dimensional screen in front of me and that was good enough.
Yeah, and now
And
they've got a three-dimensional world where they're
yeah,
like, doing a Google search here, I don't know, doing their internet search here and got their GPS here and
yep,
chatting with a friend here in
yep.
three-dimensional space.
The march of technology and parental angst continues on
Yes.
unabated.
Yes, always.
Yeah. Cool. Well, great show as always. And thanks.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.